The right way to do it is where you don't go into full range.
Okay.
You take a short step.
Oh.
And you're trying to push your opponent out here. So if I'm pushing you in, I'm occupying that space, and I'm having my weapon right there. And if you do decide to come up with a 3, then I just go down with the vertical right there and get you.
Hey guys, David back again with my brother Edwin here in Texas at Texas Defense Academy. This is the gym that Edwin runs, and if you're around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I highly recommend you come and look him up. Reason being, you're going to get some of the best training that you have ever gotten, and he's definitely going to make you work. So if you're into that sort of thing, look these guys up and make it a point to come in. Mm-hmm. We are both instructors under Tim Wade. Yep. With the PTK-SMF system. You are at the Guru rank, and you've been doing it for what, 10 years?
Going on 10 years.
Yeah, going on. Damn. Today, Edwin is going to go over one of the principles that we train in SMF, and it's called bridging. Bridging is important because you have to know how to get into your opponent to inflict the type of damage that you want to be able to inflict to end the fight. But also you want to do so in a strategic way. You want to use certain tactics that are going to ensure that you stay protected whenever you're trying to end the fight, essentially. So without further ado, I'm just going to turn it over into you and get beat up on camera.
Awesome.
It's going to be great.
So bridging is pretty much once you get your opponent to move and you're closing into that target. Now you can go either from weapon to weapon, and it all depends on your footwork and maneuverability and everything that you do, of course. But sometimes on that bridging, it could be, if you get that timing right, you get that hand. Or sometimes you put up what we call a 4-wall. You go in, and then as your opponent goes fluid, you'll go straight into that. Or sometimes when you get to that bridge, you can switch it up and go under the face or right into the hand immediately. So
very nice.
That could be a form of bridging. But you go into the bridge right to the eyes. Okay. Some people may want to go to the hands, and that's okay. But honestly, if you keep your weapon high, and you're trying to push your opponent out here. So if I'm pushing you in, I'm occupying that space, and I'm having my weapon right there. And if you do decide to come up with a 3, then I just go down with the vertical right there and get you.
Very nice. So how do you get there?
It actually starts for me either trying to pick up on your eyes or right at the hand.
Okay.
As well. So it normally static. We start here, 1, 2, to understand the strikes as well, right? Once you understand that, then you start to incorporate some footwork into it. And some of the footwork is what we call in Pekiti is forward triangle, where you're moving left 45 and then right 2 times. Okay. But to keep it simple, just keep it just a 1 and 2. So we start static here, 1, 2, learning the strike as well. And this is good because it gives you a wide range of motion of your body mechanics, and also it helps you understand where you're at in time and space. Because right here, we're playing equal timing. If our weapon is here, that's equal. If our weapon is here, it's equal. You and I are pretty much on the center, on a 0-degree line, and we're not moving. Mm-hmm. Makes sense? And that's pretty much starting static. Now, when we start adding the footwork and movement, that's where I'm switching my target from the stick down straight to your hand. Makes sense? So there's multiple ways of doing this as well, too. So, when you're gonna do a number 1 strike, what we call, you want to keep your elbow up 90. You don't do this lazy elbow here. Why? Because your hand is exposed right there, and also
so is the elbow and stuff like that.
Your elbow is exposed. All this is exposed, right? Mm-hmm. Also, not just that, but your strike is not too powerful. Number 1 is a powerful strike, but you have to have it from a wide angle.
So again, full range of motion. Full range of motion.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll start off wide. And then as you progress in your training, you can condense it to a lot smaller. So when we're going here, right, I'm trying to go for your eyes, I'm trying to go for your hand, and I step off on the left 45 right there. Once I see you're moving, right, or I recognize that range and timing where you're at, and if you're a little bit behind, then I'll know that from this point, I'll need to come in and close into that bridge right there. If you're moving consistently, then I'll know. Okay. If go to 2. Mm-hmm. If you're moving out already, then I know I have to do some type of follow-up because you're not there at that spot no more. Mm-hmm. If you don't move, far enough, then I'm already at that bridge right where I need to be.
Gotcha.
That's would be kind of what we call your corto, and I'm already in, and now we're actually closing, and you're doing some exchange.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the cool thing about this is, and obviously I'm a student, so I already know this point, but just so you guys can kind of see what's going on, when he's moving in like that, he's essentially threatening me. He's displacing me, and he's also threatening me. So a lot of people, they get into these drills and they're like, well, you know, I can do this in the drill, I can do this in the drill, and I can do, you know, all this kind of stuff. When he's moving as ballistically and as dynamically as he is, he's forcing me to do certain things just out of my own protection. When he was talking about coming up to this angle too, and me going fluid, now obviously this doesn't seem like a very smart idea, especially if he keeps his weapon up there. The problem is that the way he's moving and the way he's jamming me up and all of that kind of thing is that I have, especially if I haven't trained this particular thing, I'm naturally going to go fluid out of my own protection and then essentially being freaked out because I'm behind timing now, right?
Right.
I'm getting pushed out of my comfort zone. And so what a lot of people will do is when they're coming in for this too, it's like, oh God. And that's where they end up. That's why this works. You don't get that just from standing still, right? Here. I have no reason to go because he's not moving into me. He's going to go fluid and I can go fluid and we don't really have to worry about this strike getting each other. But when he's moving me, right, when he's quartering me, I go fluid because I'm behind timing and I'm losing the fight essentially. And that's what allows him to be able to get that two in there. And I would even challenge to say that you don't get that unless you're moving.
Correct.
Even in training, like you're not going to just be like, okay, well now you go fluid. Well, I don't want to go fluid. Well, you know, you have to.
Yeah, I mean, if we're starting off static, that's fine, right? And you can start just by walking. Just by walking. So to get to that proper bridge, you know, you start off slow, you walk it, take your time, enjoy the ride. It's like you're driving your favorite muscle car. And then every now and then, you crank it, and then you move right there.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you noticed this, but he put me in a position to where I was like, I was still kind of in a bad range there. So what I had to do to get that range, as I was coming out, I went ahead and took that step through to get out so I can get that more distance, because this is designed to put your opponent in a pretty rough spot. Like you're taking all of the space away. You are completely displacing where my body is.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like you have to get back, because if you don't get back, two things are going to happen. Either you're going to get, if you're skilled, you're going to get right into this position right here. Mm-hmm. And this isn't where it ends. Nope. There's so much follow up from here. Or you're going to go fluid, or this is going to push in because he's coming with so much force. Exactly. And then I'm in a bad spot. Or you're going to go fluid.
And that has happened to me before.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah. I caught it one time and my student just drove that weapon right in my eye. I literally got a scar right here.
Makes you proud though, doesn't it?
Yeah, with a bleeding eye. So yes. it works. It's effective. You just gotta invest time in it. You gotta train it. Yeah.
Or you'll find yourself to where it's like, I know that if I go fluid, I'm screwed, right? Because that stick is right there in my face. So I have to create more space, and that's why I did that step back. But the problem here is that from this position here, and I go fluid, I'm going to have to do something like really quick as far as movement or even striking and taking that center line to make him not keep going forward, because he's already got my back up against the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So once you get to this bridging here, like I said, you can drive the weapon into your opponent. Mm-hmm. If they go fluid, you can go there. Mm-hmm. Right. And if you have to know, like it goes like we were saying earlier about
where the energy is going.
Yeah, where the energy is going, right? If you feel that the energy is there, then at this point you have that target right there. Right. You can move at an angle. Right. You can drag here. There's your puño. Ooh. Right, or actually, yeah, that's and pretty much plain and simple right there.
Oh yeah, super. Yeah. And there's more options from there. There's a lot more options from there. There's a bunch of drills that we focus on that will meet us here in this too. And if I feel this energy pushing this way, I'll go more towards the inside. Right, simple redirection. If I feel it straight on, then yeah, I can pop that in and go in. Just because we meet up in this position, two things. There's options from here. And whatever option that you choose, has to be quick because he's not just going to stand here. One of the things that Tuhan Tim talks about, and it makes this whole scenario make more sense, is that when I'm here, I'm not staying here. I'm here for a split second, and then I'm going off into something else, or you got to keep that fight going. And then this is, in my opinion, this is what kind of separates SMF from other systems that I've trained before, is that you're going through this within the realm of a lot of movement all the time. Like there is no, as Tuhan Tim likes to say, it's not Pekiti standstill, right?
No.
We are constantly moving. And this drill fits in perfectly with that.
And one of the that sets us apart is that you could tell that if you're training FMA, we're not going in there that, okay, you get me and I get you, and then we start locking up and start beating each other up.
Oh, because we're not doing like the caveman thing of where it looks like
no, because I'm a supervisor and I got to have a clean face to do my job. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, and plus I'm the face of the school, so I need to.
That makes sense too. Well, and from my own personal perspective, if I'm training to fight, I don't really want to take a whole lot of damage anyway. Because what if I have to fight somebody else?
Yep.
You know, so mutual destruction is not really high on the list of things that I really want to spend a lot of time on.
It's pretty much like, I mean, if you're able to get the weapon on the number one strike, good. You know, you get the number one strike, and then you go for that bridge of the eyes. Because once that weapon's gone, then it's the eyes, and then you go to the next opponent. All right, who's next? So,
and that to me, guys, that's what separates this from everything else. We do have drills. There are things that we can spend a lot of time training on, but ultimately you have to keep it in mind that the fight has to end just as quickly as it started. Within the first 3 seconds, you have 3 seconds or 3 movements. If you haven't ended the fight there, you're not doing your job right.
Yep. Like I tell my students, 3 seconds, that's it. If you go past that, well, then you're probably playing around. Yeah. So here, when we're moving, right, I'm trying to get to your hand without you trying to hit my hand. Now, we are doing the same thing. Now, one thing I'm not doing, I'm not going on the number one, and I'm moving this angle here. It puts you at a mutual destruction here.
I see. Well, and essentially, so the whole idea is to move behind protection, right? Like, so if I'm moving, I'm going for that hand, which is making you pull that back, which is essentially protecting me from that strike. Plus, so is my movement, right? Because I'm moving out of the arc of that strike. I go in, right? I move behind that bridge, or I'm trying to take the hand, right? I'm trying to take the hand. Essentially, you're moving behind your protection, right? And this goes for everything else in combat sports and stuff like that, right? I'm not going to move behind a punch like this.
No.
Right? Because what's going to happen? You're going to hit me in the face, right?
Exactly.
To me, moving, if you don't know what you're doing, moving right 45 on that angle 1 seems like I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm putting myself at a closer range, right? And I'm moving, and I have, see, that doesn't make sense to me. Now,
you can go right 45, but at the same time, it'll be your hand in the process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a proper way to do it, though. Should I discuss it?
Well, let's play with it.
Let's play with it. Okay, so the right way to do it is where you don't go into full range.
Okay.
You take a short step.
To
get to the hand. I mean, there's a thing, but you don't do it right off the back when you're starting off. You got to know the rules, abide by the rules,
and then break the rules.
Nope. Bend the rules.
Bend the rules.
And then fuck the rules. Sorry. Oh,
you're good.
Break the rules. Okay. So our rule number 1 is, say you coming in on the right, on the 45, right? No, the norm, right? It's coming in there. For me, I got to go out and protect myself, right? Okay, I know that. I could bend the rules by simply going out this way to my right 45. And now your hand is right there in the process.
It runs right into it.
Yep. Or I could break the rule where I take a small step, right? A small step, not big, but just a small step, and take your hand right there.
Nice. And I want to take that point and I want to elaborate on it because they may not understand what differentiates a big step with a small step. So if you take that big step, don't worry about the weapon for right now. If you take that big step, that puts you essentially in that arc of that strike. Right. And that's why you don't want to do that. But if you take that small step, right, he's out of that, even if it goes fluid, right? So wherever he was, even if it goes fluid, he's out of that arc of that strike. And that's what sets the difference, is that when you're moving, you're not going to move into the into the arc of the strike unless you really know what you're doing, right? There are instances where you do it, but usually it's because you're super protected and you got them going back anyway. If I'm moving into this arc of the strike, it's because I'm in the fight right here, right now. However, when I'm going in on an angle one, I'm moving, right? You're moving and you're taking my hand, but if for some reason that doesn't make it, he doesn't have to worry about that strike. And that's what you got to train.
And plus you'll be first too, because you have the speed and the timing of the hand. And precision and accuracy. So, and the best way to work precision and accuracy, it's slow. You know, it's like you go to the range, right? Draw, boom. And you want to hit the same target again, boom. That's how you work precision and accuracy. And the speed comes in after that, boom. So
makes sense. Makes sense. Some very good points. So we've covered a lot here. Again, this is one of those types of situations where you can see it at face value. You can see it in not a whole lot of depth and still get a lot from it. You're learning how to close from out here to get inside. And then once I get inside, where am I going from here and so forth. But you're also learning that there are multiple ways about it. But overall, the main points behind this is A, you want to stay protected. You want to fight the safe fight. You don't want to put yourself in a position where it's going to be mutual destruction or just absolute destruction on your end. And B, you have to be able to gauge that distance in going in and coming back out. All right, brother, I appreciate it. Guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe. And again, if you're ever in the DFW area, if you're ever down here in Texas, look Edwin up, man. His gym is world class. And I'm telling you, this guy has a wealth of knowledge that's going to get you moving and get you better.